Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Muller.
Here. Mr. Engel, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by Mr. Miller with the invocation?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us the continued opportunity to live in a country and a community where we have the luxury of expressing ourselves at the voting booths. Let us never take that blessing for granted. Please help the City Council to continue to work with and for every Macedonia citizen, and a special intention for the health of our mayor. Amen.
Mike, I'd like to also invoke the Lord's blessing that the Nardonia basketball team tonight beat Medina. And I would like to let everybody know I would rather be at that game than be here. But anyway, I wish the boys luck.
You got a chance to win.
Do I have a motion accepting the minutes of February 9th, 2012?
I can make a, good. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, first up we have comments by the public. Please come up to the podium here, state your name and address. Do we have any comments this evening?
Good evening. My name's Sylvia Hannigan. I live on Hampton Drive in Macedonia. I came up tonight to speak to Ordinance 3/2012. For those who don't remember, this is the ordinance that authorized health care benefits for the council people, retroactive to January 1st of this year. I wanted to mention one thing here. I don't understand why we're appealing to the Ohio Ethics Commission on this issue. I realize that we've done that since everybody on council has said that they will not accept and don't expect to receive any benefits in their current term. I think it's simpler and cheaper and will take a lot less time if we simply modify Ordinance 3/2012 to do either to repeal it, which would be my preference, but if the majority still wants to pass it, they could pass it, making it effective in the next council term for each member. Just thought I'd bring that to your attention and offer that as a possibility for action that will solve the problem very quickly, and we don't have to worry about what the Ohio Ethics Commission says about interim benefits. Thanks.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Any other public comments?
Hi, my name is Barbara Pangrack, and I live at 9658 Valley View Road, right where the ambulances come out to the flashing light. That's my little green house. And there's a bump in the road, and Jim and I have been working on it for over 7 months, trying to figure out what to do about that. It's fine when there's no detour, but when the detours come through and the semis, it's like ka-kunk. You know, and my house rattles. I lose TV reception, and there's the almost a 2-year detour of semis coming down that road starting in April. And so Jim and I have been working on it, and it seems like right now I just have a concern because it looks like that the solution is to wait until to put asphalt on it. They've grinded it down, and it's still a considerable bump, and so putting asphalt before it and after it and over it to stop the ka-chunk. And the last email I got was saying that it'll be done in April when the asphalt's available, and like April 15th. I know the detour starts April 1st, and so I'm kind of concerned because I'm having a hard time visualizing closing down that lane to pour asphalt while there's a detour going on full of semis. And so because there's less than 3 weeks left, I'm feeling real concerned because my house, if this isn't remedied, my house will be uninhabitable during the 2-year detour because of the rambling and it's just horrendous noise. So I'm just wanting some clarity on that, and if that is really going to be okay to pave one lane. The northbound lane is the one where the bump is and where all the noise and rumbling comes from, and so I just want to see if council's okay with that, pouring asphalt beginning April 15th on that bump.
I have that same situation where I work. It vibrates our windows. Things
Yeah.
fall off the shelf. These trucks go up and down.
They're, yeah, 18-wheelers.
I'll work with you on this and let's get it done soon.
Thank you, thank you.
It's scary. You think your house is coming.
Yeah, oh yeah, things move on the walls. But the time factor is what I'm worried about. So there's no answer tonight, or?
Jim, where are we at on that? You've been working with,
I had a contractor come out, as I said, the material is not available until April 15th. That's historically when plants open. If the weather turns to the worse, it'll be later. There's nothing more I could do. I tried to just have it done with crack sealing material, had a contractor come and do it, and Barbara wasn't satisfied with that, so the next step would be I have him giving me a proposal to actually grind both lanes. What it is it was a road opening, maybe for Summit Point. I don't know exactly what the road opening was. It's maybe 8 foot wide, the full width of the road. I mean, it's maybe a half-inch, huh?
Did it settle or is it push up or what?
Yeah, kind of both. You can't really tell.
Jim,
It's just maybe a half-inch raised up. That's all it is. I mean, I asked if we could just grind it down, and the contractor seemed to think that wouldn't solve anything.
and there's, all the plants are April 15th?
Yes, sir.
You've explained this, that this material isn't available at this time of year, so
Right.
we're really kind of stuck, and
Right.
what you've done is you're gonna have it, as soon as the material's available, we'll do the project.
Right.
So that's feasible to actually close down the detour road to do asphalt?
Well, it's not that big of a project, is it, Jim?
What's
They do
that?
one
It's
better than
not,
the
it's
other.
not that big of a project to shut the road down for a couple hours to,
I mean, it'd
to
be
fix
just
it.
one lane at a time. We
Right.
could do it on the weekend, possibly.
right, well,
Okay, yeah, great. It's like, I just couldn't visualize putting the semis down one lane, but, yeah, okay.
Some of that new asphalt, you drive right on it when it's rolled.
okay.
You can drive on it that quickly? Okay.
I've been known to do that.
Okay. Great, thank you. Thank you. That's what I needed, was peace of mind. Thank you, Jim.
any other public comments?
Shirley Koth, 902 Eileen Drive. I have a question on Resolution 8. The discounts, one thing, we've been talking about these, but I have never heard a number. What is there a percentage of discount or a dollar amount of discount, or?
It's what the employees get.
It's,
It's the amount that the employees of the city get.
Well, what I mean, if the rec center fee is X number of dollars, what then is the difference between what a normal resident would pay and what an employee would pay?
It's $125 off of any package.
Okay.
Which is about 50%, right?
Not quite, depending if it's a family of 3 or,
It's a
one of the
flat
larger
125
packages, it's a
off
flat
any package?
125.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Barring none, we'll move into pending or new legislation. First up, we have Resolution 8, 2012.
I'd like to offer resolution number 8, 2012 for its second reading by title only.
A resolution authorizing all members of the various boards and commissions eligible to receive recreation fee discounts to Macedonia Family Recreation Center.
President Molnar, can I just address this for a second?
Absolutely.
What we're going to do is, I had a meeting with Ms. Demerick, who runs our recreation center, and spoke to Mr. Deemer as well as other members of council. and we had to come up with some idea of what particular committees would be authorized, their members, to receive a discount. And what we're going to use is actually the City of Macedonia Employee Guide, because only those committees that are authorized by the city and recognized by the city, those members of those committees will be eligible. And this is just a great opportunity to recognize those members of our community who volunteer their time and their spirit to make Macedonia a better community.
Ken, didn't we have a number in a work session of people that we would be considering for this?
The number that I had discussed with our clerk of council ranged somewhere between 35 and 41, and there's also crossover. And actually, there are members of many committees who said that even though they might be availed of this program, they would not take advantage of it, but they certainly appreciated the effort that council was making toward recognizing their efforts and thought it would be a good idea for some of the other committee members to participate.
Ken, I wonder if maybe putting a something there that says you have to be on said committee for a year before you get that, and you have to, you know, because I know sometimes people work in and out of these committees quite frequently. You want to consider something like that as well.
I'm going to discuss that with Mr. Diemert and Ms. Diemert, and certainly we'll come up with what I believe will be an acceptable solution.
Up next, we have ordinance 10, 2012.
I'd like to offer ordinance 10-2012 for its second reading by title only, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a Macedonia Occupancy Program grant agreement with TPC Wire and Cable Corps.
Moving on, we have ordinance 12, 2012.
I'd like to offer ordinance number 12, 2012 for its second and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance establishing Shepherd Road within the boundaries of the City of Macedonia to be a non-through street with a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour.
And what's your pleasure?
Oh, I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 12, 2012.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Barker?
No.
Ms. Darrell?
No.
Mr. Engel?
No.
Mr. Martin?
No.
Mr. Miller?
No.
Mr. Mulner?
Before I vote, I just want to say that a resident had approached me in regards to this ordinance, and their concern was when we closed down the road, that there would be a lot of traffic on their road, and there was concern about the amount of cars that would be coming through there and things of that nature. So after taking the advice of the police chief, the fire chief, our building department, and finding out that it would cost us a substantial amount of money, my vote's no.
Measure failed.
Moving on, ordinance number 13, 2012.
Oh, sorry. I'd like to offer ordinance 13-2012 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
I do need a
All in
second.
favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I do need a second.
Second.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Dan
Take out.
Mateka to the position of full-time police officer.
And what's your pleasure?
Before we do this, I think it's appropriate to recognize Mr. Mateka, and I believe you get your family. If you'd stand up and introduce them to us, please.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is David Mateka. Sitting to my left is my wife, Cassandra.
Hi.
In the back row is my grandfather, Roger. My grandmother, Dorothy. My mother, Barbara. And my younger brother, Matthew.
Well, thank you. As, I don't know if you know or not, these appointments are very near and dear to my heart because I, too, am in the same line of work you do. And you know your number one job at night is to go home after your shift. So be safe out there and welcome to the city.
Mr. Mateka, why did you decide to become a police officer? Why did you decide to dedicate your life to that?
At the time getting out of high school, it just seemed like a interesting, neat thing to do, and kind of got bit by the bug of being involved with the people and kind of helping out.
It will be interesting.
I will remember.
I move that we pass and post ordinance 13-2012.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Barker?
I hope to see a few more of these coming, Chief, here in the very near future, and yes.
Ms. Darrell?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Enthusiastic, yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes. Moving on, ordinance number 14, 2012.
I'd like to offer ordinance number 14, 2012 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
And I know you're all in favor of that.
Aye.
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 An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Ryan Shelby to the position of part-time corrections officer.
And what's your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 14, 2012.
Second.
Mr. Mr. Barker?
Is Mr. Shelby here? Yeah, I'd like to, would you stand up and introduce yourself as well, too?
Hello, my name is Ryan Shelby. I currently work at Macedonia and Best Buy down at 882. I've been there for about 10 years. I do loss prevention there. I'm also a deputy sheriff in Portage County. I was sworn in 1 month ago. I've wanted to do law enforcement and everything that has to do with it pretty much all my life. And one day I would like to be a police officer in the city of Macedonia as well. I figured, start off from jail, it would, give me, get my face out there, get a chance to meet everybody, and, have a good opportunity to one day work for the city as a police officer.
Well, good. Glad to have you. I, too, currently assigned to the Summit County Jail, and there's a lot of intel you can get out of there, and you can be great help to the officers. I'm sure glad to have you. And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Darrell?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes. Ordinance 15, 2012 passes. Moving on to ordinance 16, 2012.
I think 15 here.
Did I
Right.
skip one?
Yeah, 15. I did 14.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like to-
Ordinance 15, 2012.
I'd like to offer ordinance 15, 2012 for a first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
An ordinance authorizing directing the mayor to enter into a contract to provide emergency dispatch services to the village of Boston Heights, Ohio, for a 5-year term commencing January 1, 2012, and ending December 31st, 2016.
And what's your pleasure?
Before I offer for passing and posting, I just note that this is a continuation of a contract that we've been providing dispatch services to Boston Heights for, 4 or 5 years now. And with that, I would move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 15, 2012.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Darrell?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes. Ordinance 15, 2012 passes. Moving on to ordinance 16, 2012.
I'd like to, offer ordinance 16, 2012 for reading, first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
An ordinance, oh, hello. An ordinance authorizing directing the mayor to enter into a contract to provide emergency dispatch services to the village of Northfield, Ohio, for a 10-year term commencing January 1, 2012, and ending December 31st, 2021.
And what's your pleasure?
Again, before we move on with this, I'd point out that the city has been providing dispatcher service for the village of Northfield now for several years, and this is a continuation of that contract. With that explanation, I would move that we pass and post according to law Ordinance 16, 2012.
Second.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes. Ordinance 16, 2012 passes. Moving on to ordinance 17, 2012.
I would like to offer ordinance 17, 2012 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
I move that we pass.
Right, okay,
All
just let me,
in-
just
All
let
in
me
favor?
read.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
An ordinance ratifying an addendum to the agreement between the City of Macedonia and International Association of Firefighters Local 3949 with regards to wages.
I move that we pass post according to law ordinance number 17, 2012.
Second.
Mr. Bar,
Yes.
Mr. Barker. Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes. Ordinance 17, 2012 passes. Moving on to ordinance 18, 2012.
I'd like to offer ordinance 18, 2012 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing the City of Macedonia to pick up the statutorily required contribution to the Ohio Public Employees Retirement System for the employees of the city pursuant to IRC Section 414H2.
Scott, would you like to speak to this before we vote on it?
Yes, sir. In lieu of wages, when we negotiated with the Teamsters contract this year, we opted to save the city some money by picking up some of their portion of the PERS pickup. Mandatorily, they have to pay 10%. So the first year, we're picking up 1.5%. And what that does for us, the city, is that those wages then aren't reflected, the higher wages aren't reflected in overtime or legacy costs when they cash out retirement or other things. So it's a significant savings on for the city's part. It'll save over $10,000 a year based on the previous overtime budget that they do for snow plowing, et cetera. So this is the first time that the city has done this, and again, it's in lieu of wages, negotiated wages. Instead of getting a 2 or 3% wage increase, they opted for 1% with this 1.5% pickup of the PERS pickup.
Thanks, Scott. What's your pleasure?
Move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 18, 2012.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes. Ordinance 18, 2012 passes. Moving on to ordinance 19, 2012.
I'd like to offer ordinance number 19, 2012 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Scott, can I put you on the spot again?
Yes, no problem. This is a ordinance that we have to pass yearly to allow us to sell anything, unused equipment on the internet. But also this lets us use another vendor that's options for the city. GovDeals.com is an internet selling place that it's similar to eBay, but it's restricted for public entities. Anybody can, any resident or anybody else can actually bid on this. It's not restricted to, and it goes on the net. They charge, there's different pricing structures. We chose an 8% fee, but we can pass that along to the buyer. So it won't cost the city anything to go ahead and list this. We take the photographs, we upload it to the website. The item will be on for 14 days. Currently, we have a snowplow chassis truck to sell, and then we could dispose of any equipment, whether it's copiers, chairs, or anything like that, and they have to come pick it up. And it's a good. I've used it before, and it seems like it reaches a lot of buyers, and I think we're gonna we'll definitely have more resources coming into any of the vehicles that we sell.
What's your pleasure?
Just a point of order, I would second Ken's motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now what do you all want to do?
I move that we pass and post ordinance number 19, 2012.
I don't feel so bad.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulder?
Yes. Ordinance 19, 2012 passes. Moving on to ordinance 20, 2012.
I'd like to offer ordinance 20-2012 for its first reading by title only, please.
An ordinance accepting a new cul-de-sac roadway built with the Highland Road RGSP for record purposes and for naming.
Are there any other motions or legislative actions?
I'd like to make a motion authorizing the fire chief to accept on behalf of the City of Macedonia Fire Department a donation of one DeWalt cordless driver drill valued at $199 from W.W. Granger, Bavaria Drive, Macedonia, Ohio, and authorizing the police chief to accept on behalf of the City of Macedonia Police Department a donation of 4 battery sticks valued at $70.10 each for a total value of $340, also from W.W. Granger of Macedonia, Ohio. And I would certainly also express council's and the city's thanks for this donation from W.W. Granger. They're a fine company, and they contribute many things like this to the city throughout the year, and we do appreciate it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Who was the second on that?
I'll second.
Thank you.
And I'll abstain. Do we have any correspondence from the clerk?
I do. It's moot at this point, so I won't read it, but it was from Kathy and Bob Thomas, and it was regarding, not to close or to restrict traffic and to lower the speed limit on Shepherd Road, but you voted it down, so it's, and you all received a copy of it, but she did ask that I read it publicly, but again, it's moot.
There will be no mayor's report. Committee reports?
There's a planning commission meeting on Monday, and that's at 5:30. And we'll be taking a look at the proposed signage at Hollywood Tans. And there's a proposed lot expansion at Jocelyn Manufacturing. So it's really an action-packed agenda, right, Mike? Correct. Signs and roads are what we deal with.
The Parks and Recs Commission canceled their meeting on Wednesday because there just wasn't a whole lot to put on the agenda. I do believe the next one, do we have another date, Angela, set up?
Actually, we may schedule one before then, but the next regularly scheduled meeting is the first Wednesday in May.
Okay.
Finance Committee meeting will be March 15th at 7 o'clock. We're hoping to finalize the budget for this year.
Any other committee reports? Department reports. Jim?
Yeah, service crews are working on pothole patching, ditching, berming, and parks crews are doing some, they identified some dangerous trees around the lake, meaning they were cracked and or rotten. Our crews removed quite a few of the trees on their own, and we're also soliciting proposals for, I believe it's 5 other trees there that they feel are too large for them to deal with. That's all I have.
Mike?
Yes, thank you. Building department's been very busy this year. It started off as a very, very busy year. New home starts are 4, new additions on homes are 2. Point of sale inspections performed was 43 so far this year. Commercial under construction, we have 3 businesses. New businesses that came in this year so far is 16. Exterior remodeling and additions, we have 2. Renovations, we have 2. And plans under review for new businesses coming in is 10. So we started off very, very good this year.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike, I have a question for you. I received a phone call from Frank Plow, and he would, I guess he submitted some paperwork, all the paperwork to you.
Well,
and to Mr. Feeney approved it, and he's been trying to get a hold of you or something. He just wanted to know if you would call him.
well,
Mr. Vlad, can I just intercede here?
Go ahead.
The situation regarding Mr. Pla, and I've gotten calls from the Homeowners Association who are concerned that certain people have picked up Mr. Pla's banner and are trying to essentially amend the subdivision plan without proper procedure taking place. Considering the nature of what's taken place with Mr. Pla and considering the threats that he's made to the Planning Commission, Council, the city, the mayor, and Mr. Feeney, I do not feel it would be appropriate to comment because this involves possible litigation. And I feel very strongly about that because after examining all of the paperwork, the city really has just bent over backwards to work and accommodate these people. And I'm concerned that anything said now may redound to our detriment later.
He just asked that you call him.
Yeah, I have a letter that went out to him today.
Okay, thanks.
Angela?
Two brief announcements. Just a reminder that tomorrow evening, March 9th, we do have a family pool party scheduled at the Recreation Center from 7 to 9 p.m. We did have a registration deadline, however, we well exceeded the minimum number of people that we needed to attend to have a successful event, so you can come and pay at the door even if you did not previously register. Second announcement is that our Youth Fall Soccer League registration deadline has been extended throughout next week. This is our Fall Soccer League, open to boys and girls ages 4 through 14, and we will continue to accept registrations past the deadline that was published.
Angela, did you have an opportunity to take a look at the parking lot?
I did.
Is there any type of impression or verdict on that, or did you get a chance to talk to Mr. Crevar about it?
I have not. We have not had a chance to meet to look at that together, so we do have plans to do that early next week, and I'll be able to give you an answer at that time.
Yeah, I'm just really concerned about the parking lot at the rec center because this was a very difficult winter. There's a lot of traffic in the rec center, and it just appears that there's a lot of standing water. There's a lot of little chuck or potholes, a lot of cracks, and I really think we need to take a good close look at that just in terms of doing some work there in preparation for the spring and summer.
I actually have a contractor trying to give me a proposal to do that work.
Well, I feel it really needs to be done, especially because everyone who goes to the rec center has to walk such a long way, so to speak, to the entrance. And one of the other things that I'm concerned about too, and this may be something that we can put on our list for next winter, but I would like to see a railing just established along that sidewalk because I saw people slip and fall on the sidewalk going to the rec center when it became particularly cold, icy, and snowy. And I thought a hand railing would be something that folks would welcome since they could hold on to it while they're walking to the rec center.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're walking to exercise, a long walk will be good. Worry about the streets in the city.
Michael.
Thing like that.
You're out of order.
My God.
Thanks, Angela. Scott?
Thank you. No formal report. I just want to recognize Chief Golden for his work behind the scenes on getting this dispatch contract from the city of Northfield. They were made a lucrative offer from another city trying to woo them over, and the chief invited the mayor down from Northfield and also working with our law department in getting a contract together for them. And they saw what our expertise is, Sonia, that controls the dispatch center, and they were impressed with it. And we actually have a great product here that not only services our city, but also they're so impressed of it that they still wanted to stay with us even though they were offered a lower deal. So that speaks highly of our dispatch center and the people that are capable of doing that. But Chief Golden was instrumental in getting that, and it's important for us because we actually then have Boston Heights also, and so it works as a team where it's basically all three entities are lowering the cost of our dispatching. We're sharing in that. So it's a huge thing that Northfield and Boston Heights did re-up with us, and makes our center stronger and with our personnel. And also I wanted to thank the fire department, Joe Natali and Paul Solinsky in negotiating this contract for the city. I know with our past economic conditions. You know, they've gone without raises for quite a number of years, as all the employees did. And they came to the bargaining table and we hammered out, which I think was a fair deal for both the city and the unions. And I appreciate, Joe, that we got this done. That's all I have.
Thanks, Scott. Chief Black?
Nick, I'd like to thank you and Granger for the donation of the drill, and that's the only report I have.
Tom? Moving on, unfinished business?
Hey, Tom, do you know anything about the 2 Club, like if anything's, that's going to be opening, or if we got any contracts or anything coming up with that?
I know that as of a day ago that there was a very serious offer that was being reviewed.
Okay,
And that was that was yesterday afternoon.
all right, thank you.
Unfinished business?
Yes,
to make
Nick,
a-
I
I'm
wanted
sorry, go
to just mention to the resident who was complaining, or at least trying to come up with a solution for Shepherd Road, that all of council feels their pain, the traffic coming down there. Many of us live on streets that are near major intersections or cut-through streets, and so we know what it's like to have increased traffic. But for the health, safety, and welfare of the rest of the city and the people that come into town, coming to work, who use that road, it's kind of a vital network throughout the city, and so we reluctantly chose not to lower the speed limit or to close it, but we will keep an eye on the situation there more closely to make sure that everything's being done to make the residents as comfortable as possible. That's all.
I'd like to make a motion to go to executive session
Hang on,
for purpose,
Shane.
sorry, I keep
Hold on,
jumping.
hold on. New business, I'd like to thank the department heads for your diligence in keeping me in the loop in the mayor's absence. I know there's communication with him and you guys, but keeping me in the loop too, I definitely appreciate, and I appreciate your diligence. Thank you. New business.
Make a motion to go to executive session for the purpose of contract negotiations.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
I technically have to do a roll call. I can't just, and I love doing that, don't I?
Yes.
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Molnar.
Yes.
And we probably, when I become, we'll just come back out to adjourn. Is that right?